I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today is an open forum, and that means that the topic is yours. It's not mine. I'm not bringing anything to the table except everything I know, and it's up to you guys to think of a question for me, and I'll pull it out of my, hat, so to speak. So either of you two have something on your mind that you'd love to ask me?
Well, I'm going with my feelings. I recently have experienced something personal with my family.
Okay. Now,
my mother.
If it's really personal, please keep in mind this meeting is recorded. And if you have a personal question that you really don't want anybody else in on, text the question to me, okay? I've got my cell phone right here. Just keep in mind, an open forum is just that. It is an open forum. The recording is posted because so many people can't seem to make it at the actual meeting time. So that said, feel free to ask me anything, or if you want, you can just hint at the problem without naming specifics. It's completely up to you.
Okay, well, I'll leave that for a one-on-one session with you and I. Okay,
great.
But with that being said, just trying to cope and understand and identify. It's been a lot difficult, but there's no but. I do reach out. I do confide in my higher power, which you know who I express as my higher power.
Mm-hmm.
The one up above, and just keeping it day by day.
Right.
It hasn't been easy. I've been a lot down. Like if I got punched in the heart really hard.
Okay. All right. So let's start right there. Okay. Let's start right there, Crystal. Please write down the phrase, "I got punched in the heart." Okay. And let me know when you have that written down.
Yes, ma'am.
Write down the other one. "I'm feeling down."
I'm feeling down.
Okay. Now, do you have your copy of the Golden Key and the Golden Key guidelines handy?
No, I don't. I don't have it on me. I don't have it with me in front of me, but.
Okay. Well, that's the source of your problem. You're not using the Golden Key. Okay. You can recognize, looking at it on a piece of paper, that those two are very poisonous, negative thoughts. Now, I don't care if they're factual. Please let me be clear. I'm not saying it's not factual. I'm saying it's a difficulty and you have to stop thinking about it. Okay, this was the definition of the Golden Key that I begged everybody to memorize. The definition of the Golden Key is stop thinking about the difficulty, which you're obsessed with, by the way, and think about God instead. Okay, so let's just do step one. What do you say? Take a pen and drop both of those thoughts. You state it, then you drop the pen. You state it, then you drop the pen. And you can do that, just quietly to yourself, and let me know when you have a clear head, okay? Because then you can begin to pray. You can't begin to pray until step one is handled. Step one is let go. Step two is thank you. Step three is declare your intention in the present tense as if you've already received it. Step four is let God. Okay, now pretty much any ordinary Christian has probably sooner or later heard the phrase, let go, let God, right?
Right.
Heard that
Amen.
before. Okay, good. So nobody's ever told you how to let go, let God. Did. Okay. And I've told you on numerous occasions, and please don't worry about it. This stuff doesn't want to stick very well because your ego, quote, quote, does not want to die. Your ego, by my definition, and I'll admit it's my definition, your ego is who you think you are. And that ego wants to survive, whether you die or not. The real you is not who you think you are. I hope some of this is starting to sound vaguely familiar. Please say yes, Crystal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you are not who you think you are. Be very clear that you are who God thinks you are. And you don't have a clue. Therefore, you have no right to judge yourself. And since you have no right to judge yourself because you don't know who you are, I promise you, you don't know who anybody else is either. You're disqualified. Your judgments are inappropriate. Now, we all make thousands of judgments every day, you know. Can I make a left turn? That's a common one. I suggest you judge that correctly. All right. I'm talking about abstract judgment that has a moral component, like good, bad, right, wrong, true, false, I agree, I disagree, what's in it for them, what's in it for me. It goes on in what is called the sea of opinions. Now, for those who have done the Landmark Forum, Rose, you'll
Right.
remember the sea of opinions is something you are lost in and you don't know it. Furthermore, you don't know that you don't know it. So, Crystal, keep dropping those two beliefs. Say the belief, drop the pen. Say the belief, drop the pen. When both of them have disappeared from your consciousness, let me know and we'll proceed. Okay, in the meantime, this world of what you don't know that you don't know is your undoing. This is the world in your subconscious mind that contains poisonous programming, and it does not ever go away. The stuff in your subconscious mind is part of your personal archive. The Library of Congress is down there. Every moment of your entire life since conception is recorded and imprinted on your subconscious mind. I didn't say you could access it, I just said it's there. All right. Now, the purpose of hypnosis,
Yes, ma'am.
dig around in there with a flashlight until you scream, ouch.
Oh, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling the ouch right now.
Whenever you're screaming, ouch, there's something I asked you to memorize. This is on page 7, I think, of the guidelines. Okay, maybe page 4, one of those. But it goes like this. Whenever you are miserable, stop what you're doing. Please stop what you're doing. Would you please, 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 please stop what you're doing, because that's the problem. And then I want you to ask yourself a very critical question. Now, the question is, what the hell have I been thinking? Does that sound vaguely familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, the reason why I ask you to ask that miserable is because there's something you don't know that's eating your lunch. Is hurting you right this moment. Whenever you're impatient.
Well, okay.
I'm listening. Yes.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Can I? I don't
Yes.
mean to interrupt, but You see, it started off with a false positive that went to a positive, and then it ended up with a negative reaction.
Are you talking
And
COVID test?
in my part, I felt
Crystal,
it was a positive.
Are you talking about a COVID test?
No, 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 ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. You know, today I'm okay. You know, although I do advise everybody to take tests. You know, no, this, it was a personal matter.
Okay, I got
Maybe
it.
a legal matter that turned out positive for me, which was like, all right, you know.
Okay.
And the reaction, I had got a negative reaction from my mother, and it really, really, you know.
Okay.
I didn't, you know. I mean,
Can you?
I think I know to God. I'm like,
Stop. Please stop. Please. I want you to write down, I got a negative reaction from my mother. Can you write that down, please?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, guess what? That was another negative
Yes,
about negativity, wasn't it? You simply can't allow your thoughts to drift into the poisonous, treacherous quicksand of your subconscious mind and drag you down with it. Okay? Listen carefully. As you say it, so it is for you. So what the hell are you saying anyway? Okay? You didn't get a negative reaction from your mother. You got the reaction you got from your mother. That's it. Anything else would be a judgment on your part. Now we're back to you're not qualified to judge. Not your life, not anybody else, and not yourself. You're simply not qualified. If you don't know, give it up. Okay, because in prayer, it is God who works, not you.
That's right.
So your particular limitations and weaknesses are of no account in this process. Divine action takes place. Your part is simply a willingness to let go of control of the final outcome to God and to thank Him ahead of time for how He will handle it.
Amen.
Okay? Now, this is page 1 here. Okay? Page 1. So, there you go. It's okay to not get it. It could take you years to get it. I still don't get it and I teach it. Okay? Right now, I'm processing out a ripoff. Cash App ripped me off to the tune of $798. Now, I am processing through that to eliminate ripoff. That's a negative statement, isn't it? Okay. Reality just is.
Yes.
It is the way it is because it is the way it is. Now, that is a rhetorical statement. That is a self-referential statement. Your mind cannot progress with a self-referential statement. It cannot handle it is the way it is because it is the way it is. Okay? Cannot. It gets stuck. And you want it to be stuck because it's running around your head, making you miserable. Don't let it do that. Whenever you are miserable, Stop thinking about the difficulty, whatever it is, and think about God instead. The first thing you have to do, though, is ask yourself this question. What the hell have I been thinking? You don't know what to drop until you remember what it is just beneath the surface of your subconscious mind that is baiting you into hell. So the entire message in the handout is, whenever you are miserable, stop what you're doing and ask yourself a very important question. And the question is this: what the hell have I been thinking? Because I, Elizabeth Keller, promise you two things. Number one, it was hell. Number two, you were thinking it. You got it? So, once you have your hands on that
Yes, ma'am.
little monster, what you get to do is drop it. Because now that you got your hands on it, now you can go ahead and pull that sucker by the balls and drop it. Because now you know what it is. Okay? Do we have that down? Okay, good. God bless you.
Yes,
I'm asking you to do something quite impossible. I'm asking you to literally look down upon your little ego in process and take control. One of the best ways to do that is to refer to yourself in your own mind in the third person. So Crystal thinks she's been hurt. Okay? Now, you take that phrase, I've been hurt, write it down, and you start dropping it. Drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. Hopefully after about 150 times, your subconscious will get sick and tired of that pattern and drop it. And how you'll know is, the pen will fall off the table, you'll sneeze, you'll cough, you'll cry, you'll laugh, or you just remember what the hell you were saying anymore. That is how you know that your subconscious mind has finally gotten it through its thick skull and has let go of the negative program. Now you've got a snowball's chance in hell of creating a new program and inserting it, such as, Dear God, I thank you for protecting me from all evil now. Amen. You like that? Keep it. Okay. I have a lot of people that are not unmuting. You've muted yourselves. Could you please unmute? Please unmute. I mean, you're welcome to join the conversation. Like I said, it is an open forum. It appears we're talking about the Golden Key Guidelines.
It's not just about Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ms. Keller.
Hi, guys. Now, Crystal, have you been dropping what I've asked you to drop? Have you been just dropping the pen and dropping the pen and dropping the pen and I'm hurt, drop it, I'm hurt, drop it, I'm hurt, drop it. I didn't say it wasn't true. I said don't think about it. It's painful. Don't think painful thoughts. And I'm hurt is a very painful thought.
Right.
Is that clear? Okay. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
if I could just put a little tape recorder on you and listen the next day to everything you said yesterday, what percentage of the thoughts you're thinking are going to be poisonous? The ones that you express, probably a good 80% are psychologically poisonous to you, okay?
Yes.
Cut it out. If I played back the recording, you could even hear yourself. Now, I want you to catch yourself
Yes, ma'am.
in the act. Catch yourself in the act of betraying yourself. Catch yourself in the act of sabotaging your happiness. Because I promise you, if you're not happy, you're not connected to God. And if you're not connected to God, guess who moved? Guess who moved? Okay. The analogy I like to use is you jumped off the ship again. Okay. Now you're drowning and you're blaming the ship, of course. We're funny that way, aren't we? It's just so easy to blame God for everything.
Mhm.
Well, get this. Anytime you point a finger at God, you've got 3 fingers pointing back at you. This is the law of projection. And if you want it explained, it's on page 9 of the core of the Golden Key Guidelines, where it says antidotes to toxic people. You've got to get, if anybody criticizes you, they hate themselves for the same reason. If you point your finger at anybody else, you hate yourself for the same reason. It's projected. That law
Thank you.
gives so
Amen.
much insight to absolutely everything. So if you're blaming somebody for something, you got to get you're doing it too. Either you're doing it to yourself as well, or you're doing it to someone else, or maybe you're even doing it to the person that's doing it to you. This is great. Oh, great. Then we wonder why the world's so screwed up. Okay. So 101, you don't get to judge, not yourself, not your world, not anybody else. The way to subtract yourself from judgment is to refer to yourself in the third person. Now, just in your own head, if you start saying it out loud, people are going to tell you that you have to come see me.
Yeah.
Then you'll tell them, well, she told me to do it.
I think
Then they're going to come after me.
so. Now I know why I do.
Refer to yourself in the third person. Rose, do you remember I mentioned
Oh,
that?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you say Rose thinks, now you've got some control. You can separate yourself from this entity, this ego, this who you think you are, that's strangling your spirit, choking you to death. Okay? Again, a story I like to tell is the parable of the great white sheet. If you can imagine a huge sheet and it has 7 billion puckers in it. I could say puckers, but that's not clean. Puckers! And at the base of every pucker is a rubber band. The rubber band is your ego, and it separates you
Oh, okay.
awareness that you are actually one with everything else. But because of your rubber band, you don't get it. You can't see it or feel it, but it's still true. It's choked off. Your awareness of your divinity is choked away from your awareness because your ego has its way day in, day out, 24/7. And I promise you, any pain you are in is a reflection of something you don't know that you don't know, that's coming from your subconscious mind and its negative programming, which it memorized God only knows when. Going clear back to age 3, which is when most people make their first judgment. Between the 3 and 6, everybody decides that there's something wrong. Oh, brother. Guess who invented evil? We did. God did not create evil. We wonder why a loving God would permit evil. He doesn't. He permits you. He permits you to have a free will, and guess what you chose? Dingbats. We chose to be separate. We took ourselves out. And even then, you can't really separate yourself from God, or you'd be dead as a non-existent, even spiritually non-existent. Now, the people among us who have truly enlightened beyond what our current species knows, these are the people that cut the mother rubber band that's choking them to death. Now, once the rubber band is gone, guess what? That little pucker ceases to be a pucker. And it goes right back flat with the one great white sheet. You left home. You're desperately trying to get back home. And the truth of the matter is you never really left home in the first place. Okay, so let's just talk about stupid. Okay, that's a negative opinion. I'm going to cancel that. You are in charge of what you allow that ego to do and what you do not allow that ego to do. The problem is right now, your subconscious mind is riding you around the block instead of you riding your subconscious mind. Again, that's a handout. It's in parables. It's a picture of a big, huge elephant, which represents 97% of your subconscious mind. Okay? 97% of your entire mind is subconscious to you. All right? Now, 3% is conscious. It's a little man standing right next to you. Okay? And that little man is 3% of your mind. However, the conscious percent is the one that is intelligent. It's the one that can make judgments of all kinds. It is the one that owns the future, creativity, and imagination. Your elephant only owns the past. Okay? Is that relatively clear?
Yes, ma'am.
It is
Yes,
up
ma'am.
to ride your elephant.
Yes, ma'am.
And you must take control. And the way you do that is you use the golden key. Don't allow yourself any negative poison programming that's going to sabotage anything and everything that you desire. Okay? So, have you dropped everything yet, Crystal? Are you crystal clear? Have you cleared your mind?
Have I dropped
Mm-hmm. I was hoping you were done.
It's helping.
Okay.
It's helping.
Okay.
I'm still dropping, but it's helping.
Okay, so I'm going to move on. Does anybody else, while Chris is very
Yes.
busy, does anybody else have a question for me on any topic whatsoever? Does not have to be the golden key.
No, ma'am.
E, do you have the golden key electronically?
Yeah.
Or the guide that you can forward me?
I sure can. Yeah,
Thank you.
I can also send you via Google Drive
Can you pass with me some?
Oh, that would be great.
the last lecture I gave on this, which was just
That would, yes, if possible, I would appreciate it.
okay. Is who's talking? Rose?
Rose, yes.
Yes, Rose. Does anybody else want?
And Crystal also another thing.
What? Crystal, do you want it also?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. So is it
Pat, you found the
safe
found the
to
folder, right?
assume that everybody on the call would like a copy of the Google Drive with last week's golden key?
I'll leave this out for you for your shower, okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and send it to everybody on the call.
Yes,
That would be Crystal and Rose and of course
I have mine.
Cynthia. Did you get it?
I have mine.
Okay, good. 'Cause I have been sending them out to people that are on it. Let's go on then to someone who has a negative thought pattern that they know is hurting them.
I opt out. I already said mine.
No, Crystal, I understand. You should still be working on, quote, quote, should. Should's the word I took away from you. Elizabeth thinks you should.
Yes, I'm dropping.
Alrighty then.
E, I have to constantly just remind myself, put myself in the third person, because I too kind of, go back and forget the landmark and, start,
Take your shower first.
taking you know, taking it in the first person and just, you know, allow my feelings to take over. So I constantly have to remind myself that, you know, okay, that's an assumption. That's not, you know, that's what Rose thinks. That's
Yes.
not actually what's
That
happening.
helps, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it really does. But it's hard, you know, because all of a sudden, like I said, you know, I go back to the flesh and the flesh takes over.
Uh-huh. Well, here's the deal. You just got through saying it's hard. Don't say that.
Mhm.
Well, I understand, especially if you're talking with,
Hi, Lala.
I've got to hear the story, okay? But
Mhm.
to that, unless you say Rose thinks it's hard, I'm going to call you on it,
Right.
okay? If you look on page 2 and 3 of the guide, I do believe
Mhm.
the whole list of words I took away from you, right?
Mhm.
Right. So
Did you send that already or not?
rephrase that, Rose, and just say, Rose thinks that's hard. Can you do
Rose thinks that's hard. Right.
Okay, bingo. I will not object. Because now you separated yourself from the little bugger.
Right.
Now you can control it. Here's the thing about your ego. It only wins when you're not looking.
Mhm.
It wins when
So,
you think you are your ego. Once you
mhm.
dissociate, now you have the capacity to enter into an altered state of consciousness. This is what I call self-awareness cubed. And that is the part of you that can observe the ego in action and make it melt like ice in the sunshine.
Mhm.
You can melt this rubber band. You just have to be aware of it. And how to become aware of it? Your pain. Your pain will let you know when it's running loose.
Mhm.
And if you don't take advantage of your pain, well, then you just got hurt. That's all. And
Right.
not going to be able to use it for your spiritual growth. Keep in mind, pain is the key to let you know anything that you don't know that you don't know. Now, is there anybody that's not familiar with the concept you don't know it and you don't know that you don't know it? I've mentioned it several times. It comes from Landmark. I think they call it Landmark worldwide now.
Mhm.
What is it you don't know that you don't know, because that is hurting you? And I'm promising you the access to this entire world that you don't know that you don't know, that you can't know if you don't know that you don't know it. The access is pain. If you will pay attention to your pain, what the hell have I been thinking? Then you can take that little bunny trail right back into your subconscious mind and find out what the thought is that you need to drop. Okay? Take responsibility for your life. When you subtract yourself from your judgments and your opinions, you get access to something I call the observer. The observer does not have opinions or judgments. The observer is outside and beyond your ego. It is your personal divinity, and it is capable of destroying your ego. Just
Mhm.
observing. Now,
Yeah.
it's a pick. Am I going to observe, or am I going to be the victim of who I think I am? That's why I'm encouraging you to take it on as one, like 24/7. Watch your mouth. And
Right.
watch what's going on between your ears, because that will determine everything in your life. As you say it, so it is. As you think it, so you are. Okay, that's
Right.
Elizabethism. I made that up. As you say it, so it is. Not for anybody else, but it is for you. You,
Right.
world. As you say so, that's it. That's the truth of God for you. I didn't say it was God's truth of God. I said it was your truth. As you say it, so it is. As you think it, you are. Unless you jump to observer. Unless You put yourself, quote, quote, in the third person, and all of a sudden you get that you're not that you're divine. The real
Right.
you would not fit on this planet. Capiche? You wouldn't fit. Does anybody remember
Yes, ma'am.
about the Scotty dog on the Monopoly board? Okay?
Mhm.
I got one.
In order for you to play the Monopoly game, you have